Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to unpack a fascinating and frankly highly ambitious project pitch that was put together to secure European research funding through Horizon Europe. The ultimate goal here? To completely revolutionize how we test the nonverbal human mind. It's a presentation that starts strictly in the realm of clinical psychology and, well, ends up somewhere you will absolutely not expect. So here's the massive question at the very heart of the proposal. How do you actually test the mind of someone who cannot speak? I mean, think about it. So much of how we assess cognitive function, memory, and emotion relies completely on a person's ability to articulate their thoughts out loud. When a patient loses their voice, how on earth can we truly know what's going on inside their head? Section 1. Understanding Broca's aphasia, the medical anchor. To really wrap our heads around this pitch, we first need to look at the specific medical condition it targets. This is Broca's aphasia. If you look at the anatomy of the brain, Broca's area is located right up in the frontal lobe. When this specific area gets damaged, typically by a stroke, like a blockage in the middle cerebral artery, it completely wreaks havoc on a person's ability to produce speech. And the pitch really emphasizes the agonizing reality of this condition. As the author bluntly puts it, the person understands the spoken speech but cannot utter anything. Just imagine that. These patients are fully aware. They can comprehend you perfectly well, but they're trapped behind a literal wall of silence. Now, sometimes they might manage to squeeze out single words or sounds, often actually obscene ones, according to the clinical notes, and it's frequently accompanied by motor disorders like right limb paralysis. It is just a devastating loss of communication. Section 2. The assessment gap, the limits of traditional psychology. Now, what's really fascinating here is how the pitch identifies a massive blind spot in current psychological testing. It argues that complex discourse disorders are largely unexplored by neuropsychology. Why? Because true, meaningful communication isn't just about stringing vocabulary words together. It's like a giant puzzle involving deep memory, deductive reasoning, and really complex emotions. Traditional testing simply isn't built to untangle this web if the patient can't use words. Historically, right, the most famous method for exploring the human psyche is Sigmund Freud's method of free association. But Freud relied entirely on talking, mostly to dig up pathology. This new proposal? It claims to bypass speech entirely. By utilizing nonverbal picture narratives, it aims to tap into deeply personal and even the collective human experiences, without a single word ever being spoken. Section 3. Method of Cognitive Representations, the 100% innovative claim. The creator aggressively pitches this solution, the method of cognitive representations, with a truly massive toolkit. We're talking about a battery of 260 distinct linear tests. By using highly specific picture and narrative stimuli, along with specialized nonverbal interviews, some designed way beyond your standard paper formats, psychologists aim to extract vital info. The goal is to literally map the unconscious minds of both nonverbal patients and entirely healthy people. Section 4. Exploring Gnosis, a new way to perceive the world. To pull this off, the pitch introduces a heavy theoretical framework around a concept called Gnosis. The proposal uniquely defines this as a perception of the world that is not associated with sensory functions. Okay, wrap your mind around that for a second. Imagine perceiving reality entirely outside of your standard 5 senses. The pitch argues that if we can tap into this gnostic level, how nonverbal patients fundamentally experience reality, it's going to unlock entirely new avenues for treatment. By evaluating this Gnostic perception using those 260 innovative neuropsychological tests, clinicians can theoretically outline a complete cognitive abilities profile. By mapping domains like attention, metacognition, and reasoning, doctors can isolate exactly which brain functions are still pristine and which ones have been compromised by disease or trauma. Section 5. Child Development Deficits, Expanding the Application. But here is where it gets broader. The pitch doesn't just stop at stroke victims, it aggressively expands its target market to include early childhood development. The author insists that this exact same nonverbal toolkit can be used to identify complex speech-sound disorders in kids early on, whether that's a motor issue or deep-seated phonemic and phonetic challenges. For any parent or educator watching, you know early identification is absolutely everything. By applying these visual tests, the creator envisions forecasting future learning difficulties way before they become critical. We're talking about giving early, targeted intervention for delays in language, motor skills, social behaviors, and cognitive thinking.
The scope of this child development deficits analysis is undeniably massive. Section 6. The project's future vision, from Horizon Europe to robots.
So how do they actually plan to execute this? Well, if they manage to secure that Horizon Europe funding, the immediate Phase 1 operational steps are incredibly, almost humorously specific. It ranges from hiring a dedicated artist and writer for the stimuli, coordinating with adult social homes across Bulgaria for testing, all the way down to literally budgeting for a metal security door for their clinic. I mean, you gotta protect the research, right?
But after meticulously laying out the costs for things like printers and metal doors, the pitch takes a massive, totally unexpected whiplash-inducing leap. It jumps from clinical neuropsychology in Bulgaria straight into the bleeding-edge realm of advanced robotics and artificial intelligence.
The proposal makes an explicit, jaw-dropping claim. Let me just quote this directly. In future projects, the information from the study can be used in the creation of robots and find a way to make them submissive to humans. Yeah, you heard that right. The grand thesis here is that if we can successfully map the absolute deepest levels of the human unconscious through these nonverbal tests, we could use that precise data to program AI, ensuring that future robots remain entirely compliant and submissive to our species. It is just a wildly ambitious pitch. I mean, it bridges severe medical trauma, the limits of Freudian analysis, early child development, and somehow the safety of our entire AI-driven future. It really leaves us with a profound question to ponder. Are the deepest, most powerful secrets of the human mind, and perhaps the literal key to surviving our own technology, only truly revealed when we finally stop relying on words?